Hello, Scott Smith here. I'm lucky enough to be joined with a Shagwar from Team Zex, as most of you all know. I've got a couple good questions for you. We're going to start with the one that everyone always wants to know. What does Zex stand for?
It's actually sort of a clan secret, only members know, but maybe if you get good enough, we'll talk
to you. Fair enough.
Finally find out.
All right, I'll give that to you. A couple questions in regards to the World Cup you attended overseas and the last CPL. You came into the last CPL. Kind of, people were saying they're only online, you know, do it on land. You came here last winter and you did it on land. You upset, all that good stuff we'll talk about. And then you went over and you did it in Europe and impressed everyone. How'd that feel?
It was a really good, I mean, I've never really been victim to sort of cheat accusations until I became part of Zex. And when I did, it was just like, once I had that Zex tag on, I was initially tagged as a cheater and configured by a lot of the players. So, I mean, I know I didn't have as much to prove as other players like Volcano and Jasper and Sunman, but I know at the same time it meant as much to me and Revenge as it did to those three. It was a big deal beating EOL, ESU, and SK, etc. 4 teams overseas, so it was really great feeling.
Good vindication for the tag in general. That's good to hear. Speaking of the events in Europe, obviously they play different. They max rounds 15 and ghosting is legal. So the question is, they're used to ghosting, they come here, they're not used to not ghosting. You guys go over there, you're not used to ghosting. Yeah. Did you practice ghosting?
No, not really. We didn't really think about it. We didn't think it would have such a big effect, but I mean, later on in the tournament, we actually used their ghosting to our advantage. Like, we'd kill someone in a different area, knowing they would tell each other where they are. Like in SK, I remember in the second round as terrorist, I killed someone out in the field, and I knew that they'd fall back to the side, so I just fell back all the way around, using it to my advantage. So I think we actually ghosted a lot less than the Euros did, and we just used their ghosting to our advantage. So it's a win and lose situation. So.
What about max rounds 15?
Max rounds 15 was definitely a lot better than I. So less emphasis on pistol rounds, which we're not exactly, as of late, the strongest on. We were allowed to play around with the money system a lot more effectively, as Team 9 did so well, especially in the final match. Saving out pistol rounds, deagle armor, etc. Just working that sort of angle. We had a lot of room to work with MR15s. So.
Gotcha. Speaking of Volcano, you know, he was able to play last CPL. He was able to play in Europe. CPL changed their age limit, so he's unable to be with you this time. Did that just change your strategies, or does that hurt you? How does that affect you?
Strategy-wise, I didn't think it affected much because he sort of plays the same sort of areas that Revenge does. So as CT side, it didn't necessarily affect us much. But I mean, as far as you can't really replace a player like Volcano. He's such an impact player. He had such a big effect on us at the last CPL. In France, he played fantastic. So I mean, it's hard to say that him not being on the team has affected us or hurt us. But Revenge is a fantastic player. I played with him for the last 3 CPLs. We'll be our 4th CPL together. So, I mean, I think that it will hurt and it'll be fine.
Perfect. Obviously, you guys have been lucky enough to, 6 months ago you were, let's say, the second tier of the best CS clans in the United States. Obviously, that has now changed. Some boys have joined 3D at the top. How do you feel about any new up-and-coming teams? TEC is coming up. And the next question would be, who do you guys now find to practice against? Because you're limiting who you can really scrimmage with and get a good scrim out.
I mean, before the pre-boot camp, I only really thought of 3 teams that were really worth our time playing, and maybe TSG when they had a really good day. It was really just GX, 3D, and TC. But now, like after playing with these rival guys, they've got a lot of skill and their teamwork and getting enhanced. And they picked up a really franchise player in Exile, so they're playing really fantastic, and they're definitely an up-and-comer. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people here.
Your guys, when you do your DE and armor, it's fantastically. It just seems like it's always good for you guys. Is that something you really, really work on, or does it fall naturally to the guys that they're good with the guns, they're good with the strat?
I think it's really becoming sort of American custom with the whole deagle armor thing. I mean, especially with teams like Rival and TC. TC probably is the best deagles in North America, or maybe even the world. And as long as they're hitting your shots and you counter with the CTs put on you with your deagles, you can beat their MP5s. I mean, long range beats the MP5, and most situations are really
yeah. And then finally, obviously you have some corporate sponsorship behind you, which helps you attend events. What do you see in the future for Zex, both as a team in general, big plans coming up, new sponsors, etc.?
Well, I don't know really. Everything's sort of been gearing up to this event. We have really no idea what's going to happen. maybe some even players, this whole thing about bombs playing with 3D for WCG, we're sort of unsure what's going on with that. So it's sort of hurting the team dynamic as far as him playing for a sort of rival team for a different event. But at the same time, we just come here, we want to win, and we have people backing us, like Next Level Interactive let us boot camp at their place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, about a month back, and we have SG Servers provides us with servers all over the country, and Mercenaries Incorporated ensures that we get here and has top line equipment. So, I mean, we seem set, and I don't know what the future holds, but hopefully the CyberX will be for real and it'll work out. And more overseas tournaments. France was incredible. ESWC was just great. So.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck in the tournament. Scott Smith here. I'm lucky enough to be joined with Brian Flander here, also known to the gaming community as Destruct. Thanks for joining us. A couple questions for you. You've played several games at the very top level of competition. Why don't you tell a little bit about your background and how you think, in general, pro gaming should progress, and negatives and positives so far?
I started way back in Unreal Tournament. I initially downloaded the demo, and it just caught my eye. And just considering I used a 56K modem back then, there was sort of at the time there was sort of a little battle between Quake 3 test and Unreal Tournament demo as to which game was going to be the next big one. And because of my connection, I ended up playing with Unreal Tournament. And I ended up going on to win WCG in the year 2000, and just about every North American tournament in the year 2001, to where I finished off my career placing 4th at a WCG qualifier at WebDesign in New York. And I went on to play Quake 3 for a while, and then here I am in Counter-Strike.
Fantastic. You know, recently you wrote that great article on pro gaming and the futures of it and what kind of you thought it needed to do to progress, etc. Any key points of that you want to touch on again? You know, what is kind of going well with the community? What could improve in the community? Those kind of things.
I think what's going well is the pace that it's at. I mean, a lot of people, you know, they come off with a negative you know, idea as to why it's going so slow and this and that, but what people don't understand is it's actually going very fast. I mean, stuff like this takes time. One of the main factors, obviously, is money. I mean, you got all these sponsors here at CPL, and I mean, it's taken them 6 years to get where it is. You know, I mean, and in my opinion, I think it's just on the right pace. And I don't know if it'll get to the point as where the X Games are when I'm still playing, but I think it will get there in time.
You took a break after, I believe, Winter CPL 2001 as a clan, for a variety of reasons, I imagine. What was your main reason for kind of stepping away from the scene, and how did that help you when you returned to the scene?
A couple guys had decided that they wanted to go play Return to Castle Wolfenstein for the QuakeCon tournament, and they ended up winning it. So, I mean, for them, it was a benefit. I sort of just joined a couple other teams, sort of played and passed the time, and tried to get a little serious, but it wasn't really the same without RDW. So I decided a couple months ago, let's do it again. So we picked up a couple new guys to replace some guys that decided they don't want to play games anymore. And George actually works for the CPL now, so I think we're going to give it another shot, see how we do.
Gotcha. What in particular did you guys do to prepare for this tournament?
We practiced online like every other team, participated in Cal Maine. We're now in Cal I, and we went to boot camp Friday before this Wednesday, so I think the 25th. Until now, we've been pretty much going at it on land with other teams like Rivals, X, Tech, Merck, all those teams we were playing at boot camp, and we got some good practice.
And then last question for you, Brian. As a lot of us know, you've started your own product line. You've got a great mouse pad, etc. Why don't you tell us a little more details about that?
It's an endorsement deal that I have with Everglide.com. I had approached David Welsh, who was the CEO, and told him about my idea, and mentioned that Fatality had the same idea, and I thought that it would be great for the professional gaming community to have gamers with products, you know, something for other gamers to inspire to achieve that same level, where they can have a product in their name, just similar to like a professional sports player has a shoe with their name or something like that. And it's going really good so far. I've sold close to 2,000 pads, and surprisingly, walking around the BYOC, a lot of people have a mouse pad, and I think it's really cool.
Good to hear. Thank you very much, Brian. Good luck in the tournament.
Thank you.